I will get it sorted out.
You'll get it figured out.
Yep. Wait, where's my...
But otherwise, if we're ready, we ready to do this? All set?
I believe so.
All this standing around when there's work to be done.
A few ground rules, because you guys don't know me as a DM and all of this. Specifically, this game is set in the world of Greyhawk, but it is a modified Greyhawk. This is my homebrew, so not everything will line up, but some things will generally be in that direction. You know, days of the week, weather happens, etc. Normal things happen in a fantasy world. This is a high magic, high fantasy campaign, so expect to see spells, expect to see spellcasters, and crazy things like dragons going around and everything. Other than that, we are here to have fun. If anybody doesn't really think that they are, feel free to end up dropping out, but I totally love this game, and I totally love everything that we are about to embark on together here. And I am not your enemy. I'm just somebody that's trying to make everything work, and unfortunately that means I've got to throw some pretty ridiculous things at you occasionally. Occasionally.
Don't worry, we'll throw it back.
Oh, Addy, I could never hate you. Case closed. Let's get drunk.
One more thing. If it sounds cool to you, if it sounds really interesting, I implore you, do it. Because if you do something crazy, and I want you to see you do that crazy thing as well. So, like, if you have a crazy, like, out there idea, do it. Seriously.
Don't let your dreams stay dreams!
All that aside, the world that we are entering, right now, we are on the edge of the Everclear Woods. Now, the Everclear Woods are they have very large trees, like from 80 to 100 foot tall, and it's a very open and sparse area, which is why they call it the Everclear Woods. It is just off of the Azure Sea, like a little bit east of that, and right on the edge of this, there are 6 roads that happen to connect to a large building here that it's 3 stories long, or 3 stories tall. Seems to be made of just basic woods from all over the place, and doesn't have any paint on it, but there is a nice stables next to it, and it smells a little bit of smoked fish as you walk forward. There's a couple of carts set up, and there's a door right up to the side of it. Right next to the door is a sign. The D on the sign is spelled with a fish. The P on the sign is spelled with cucumbers, and it is called the Dick and Pickle. This is the inn that you have been told to come to. Aura, let's start with you. You walk through the door. You see a nice open tavern. There seems to be a few elves off to the side, but right to your left seems to be a bar, and there's a human with a nice-looking beard right behind the bar. It seems to be talking to this other man that you recognize. He is Philip Goldenrod. They seem to be arranging a few drinks on a tray, and he turns towards you and waves. Aura, what does your character look like?
Think I'll go for the generic look. Probably like, shoulder length, a little longer than shoulder length hair, brown eyes. Just your normal, kind of average looking halfling, nothing too fancy about her.
Okay.
Though I didn't figure out my height for her.
Don't worry. You are short. You are a halfling.
Yep.
So
that's kind of what I
anywhere from like 2.5 to like 3.5. So.
Alright, we'll do.
Anywhere in that area. But Philip bids you to sit at a table not too far away from him, and he goes and gathers up some drinks and sits down right next to you.
Alright.
At this point, Silver, you walk in.
Hello.
What do you look like?
Well, I prefer to play as a female character, so my Tabascus is female.
She has a white underbelly and a nice brown, well, not brownish, but a mix between brownish and orangish fur on the top. Sort of like you'd see for a tiger. A weird one. Wearing traditional monk robes, of course, with beads around her neck. And some cloth-looking stuff for her hands. Like,
Okay.
you know how to wrap it around?
You do see Philip sitting down to a table next to a halfling. He doesn't notice you at first. What do you want to do? Do you want to go and sit at the table? Do you want to talk to somebody?
I'll go sit at the table and introduce myself.
Okay. So, after that, as you just barely get out your name, which, go ahead and say what that is.
Silver. Well, the full is Silver Crow with a Q.
At that point, Sans, you walk into the bar here. Go ahead and describe yourself.
I'm a gray dwarf, with like, I guess, darkish gray skin, big black beard. I look at the bar and I see the halfling there with some drinks in front of him, and I go, "Move over, half pint. Let the real drinkers drink." And I take
Calling
one
a
of the
half
drinks
pint.
and drink it in front of him.
You bastard. Can I attempt to snatch it back?
Philip actually hands you a different drink that he went ahead and grabbed.
Oh,
Snickers a little bit to himself.
bastard. Goddamn dwarves.
Yeah.
One of my viewers is asking what system.
Oh, he's a little frisky.
Talking about my PC or about the actual
The game system is 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons.
5th edition.
Can you turn up your mic, honey?
Yeah. Sorry.
And at
That's
that,
better.
yeah, that is better for me.
Oh,
We there? Are we working?
can you hear me okay now?
A little soft for me for some reason.
I can hear it pretty well.
Maybe I'm just deaf.
Turn me up on Discord.
You are.
Oh,
They all turned up, baby.
So anyways, Charmed, you walk in here.
alright.
What do you want to do? Describe yourself.
My hair changes colors, so I can't really tell you. I mean, I guess right now it's light pink, almost white. I basically wear nothing.
Oh.
Just some leaves and vines. I've got a pretty sick bow.
Oh, we're going Queensblade.
Actually, you are wearing leather armor. That would probably be incorporated a little bit, but it can still be
Oh.
risque as you want it to be.
Well, I'm wearing very little anyways. And, some pretty big eyes. They also change color. Whatever color my hair is, just like in anime. I am like the shortest elf you ever see.
Oh.
Hold on. Yeah. Okay. I flip my hair when I walk in. I'm like, looks like a bunch of hooligans over at the bar. Might as well cause some trouble there. And
Philip actually recognizes you and bids you to sit down.
oh. I say, you're not my real dad, and then I sit down.
Now that everybody is basically sitting next to each other, everybody have a drink? Everybody's all set? This is Philip talking. So, I gathered you guys up here because I'm setting out in the morning. This is my last stop, actually, before we go and head into Heroes Rest. But, yeah, really great to see everybody show up. I mean, well, there's probably one or two I'm still hoping to go ahead and see, but we'll see how the night progresses if they show up at any time. But feel free to have some drinks on me and maybe some... The specialty here in the house is actually a smoked fish, so if you wanted some of that. But I would like to, on behalf of the Redeemers, welcome you into the guild if you guys wanted to come and do some things with us.
I'm assuming the pay is good?
The pay is probably as good as you can get in this area. They started a little bit onto the Eastern Kingdoms, but, you know.
I'll make a deal.
Is there going to be any interesting story?
Interesting story as in your story, or the story of the guild itself?
Yes.
Well, the guild itself actually has been around for a little bit. It was formed... Actually, I'm not entirely sure who that was formed by. It's been around a lot longer than I think. He strokes his beard a little bit. But the guild right now is ran by a ranger, a human ranger named Jalen, and his wife Meg. But a few years back, they actually took down Tiamat, believe it or not. It was a big, huge, epic battle with them and like 15 others. They went and basically just banished her back to wherever she came from, so... Yeah, they're trying to start up a new area here in Heroes Rest, and, you know, they're trying to make it through, make it by. We just need some fresh blood, if you will, because they haven't really been able to get many people other than the humans of Heroes Rest, so.
Okay.
Oh, hey, thank you. Hold on, I didn't even get to see what that was because my camera was annoying. But yes, my widow is better.
Well, I'll go ahead and take an order of that smoked fish while we talk more. I'm assuming there's going to be bountiful treasures. Do we kind of get to take what we find?
Well, the way it's set up, and there's actually some fish placed in front of each of you if you wanted some.
Ooh, yes.
Also some bread to help soak it up. There's actually a second drink that is set next to Belmont because he's pretty much through the one that he's got already, so...
Cheers. Running a bit dry.
The pay itself is by a... we kind of have these missions set up, and it's basically, you know, the job comes from the guild itself. They'll determine who actually has priority for it and able to do all of that. And a lot of these people will pay like premium dollar for it. So it depends on what you guys end up doing. If you happen to go into like dungeons and crypts of the such, you know, you're certainly welcome to your own spoils of that, but we will be trying to pay you of at least, we're looking at 50 gold a month, potentially higher if we end up getting very valuable, if we get a very valuable influx of things, but it's going to be a bunch of odd jobs and such, you know. Sometimes...
Live off of 50 gold a month?
In D&D terms, as the DM. In D&D terms, most people live off of 1 gold a month.
Oh, damn.
Oh,
That's
so
rich.
can't go wrong?
Sometimes it's going to be something simple, like guarding a meadow or something like that. Sometimes there's going to be, you know, some cave or something that you might have to kill some goblins in, so... Depends on what it is, and as you know, the guild has a history of defeating Tiamat, so it might actually come up that, you know, there might be some other, like, evil big thing that we might need your help for, so... You know, if word gets around, somebody thinks, oh, well, these guys helped us